Good morning. Today we're going to be building a beautiful port area called Gronsport. Welcome back to MorningCraft and let's get started. So we've got our wonderful cathedral up on the hill, but we've completely neglected this little patch of land next to it. This is going to be an absolute flurry of trade, goods and places to be. And I want it to be the very best. And so I got to work. I came up with a pretty interesting concept for Gronsport, which I'm going to show to you sort of midway through the video. But the first part was to raise it all up using some big walls. I want a nice vertical separation between the water and the port of Gronsport. And with these walls in place, I was able to build something quite interesting. And you'll see why we need this vertical separation in just a bit. But there's no point building up these walls if we're not going to have anything on top of them. And so it was time to tackle this mess of forests and fields all in one go. I want to have an upper section here filled with the most wonderful houses in all of Thaldrim. And so I flattened out this area and removed all of the trees, ready to raise it up to a new level where we could build some beautiful houses. So I used a ton of dirt and gave this upper area a lovely green lawn. And now we have somewhere to build our most wonderful houses. However, we still have this lower section that we've barely touched. I want to build one of the richest and best roads to travel to if you're looking for something to spend a lot of money on. This is going to be a really nice area, but it's also going to have a little bit of a dark secret. And so I laid out some plans for some really wide roads. But underneath all these roads is going to be something very different. But I'll show you that after this story segment. See you in a second.
Some of the best recorded historical events of the Thaldric era were in fact from the neighboring archipelago of Wind. They spoke of a great war between two factions and a brave Thaldric warrior who helped Sakurajima. Despite the help of this outsider, we have clear records that suggest Sakurajima surrendered, and most nobles were given till the next sunrise to say goodbye to their home and face their ends. Little record exists of who this Thaldric hero was, but imperial transcripts claimed he was a man of some status in Virelda. I have my theories, but to put them in writing would certainly skew the authenticity of my chronicles.
So I laid out these roads and I think they look pretty good. They're quite a rich tone as they're using tuff. And now I just need to lay out some land in between them for all the buildings to sit upon. I am going to colour code each of the sections I fill in, but first I want to show you these roads. We're going to have some beautiful wide streets, and lining the streets we're going to have a bunch of cafes, restaurants, jewelers, anything you can think of, and I'm hoping it's going to look amazing. This is where all the money is going to come to be spent. And our bridge now finally has a use. It literally led to nowhere before, so I'm glad it's there now. But I also added these nice thick walls around the roads, because I mentioned before there is going to be something underneath. But in service of what lies below, I had to add a bunch of manhole covers along the road. You can see I've added in some copper trapdoors, which are going to keep lots of light flowing into the underground section. I wonder what could be happening down there. At the waterline, we have a vast network of underground sewers. And it's not just going to be a really boring piece of infrastructure. We're going to have a bunch of people living down here. The subterranean sewers of Gronsport are going to be the poorest and worst areas to live in. it's going to be filled with a black market and all sorts of individuals you wouldn't want to meet. But before I can show you more, let's go to a quick story segment.
My father has asked me to translate into Viraldan for you.
私たちはとても接近していました。そして R は
He
よく
says we
戦
were
いました。
close, and you fought well.
I thank him. It was his courage that brought me back into the fray. How did we lose? I thought Sakurajima and Honshujin were matched.
ラドゲンの貿易相手の国に連絡が取れませんでした。私が送った船は隣国に侵略さ
He
れたと
says that the
主張しま
traders
した。
in Ladigan failed him, that they were invaded by their neighbor, and the weapons never arrived.
Do you know the name of the neighbor that harmed Ladogen?
彼らは暴君と呼ばれたと言った。ビクター・アムストロング。
Victor Armstrong.
That one didn't need translating, Hoshiko. The people of Ladogen are tall and strong, but friendly and peaceful. They are always there when you need them. Armstrong's tyranny and his disruption to your home will both come back to bite him.
Would you take a look at that? The hanging gardens and the cathedral looking pretty nice. But let's get back to Gronsport, where I've done a ton of work. You can see in Oakwood where all the luxurious and rich buildings are going to go. And you can see this stone area next to the hill where the most fabulous houses are going to sit. And in the Sprucewood, we're going to have a bunch of commerce, shipping, and general dock stuff. By that I mean cranes, crates, anything they need to keep the ships flowing. But I'm really looking forward to building up this area into a real, it's sort of like Charles Dickens contrast of the top rich upper sections clad by the sprucewood floored dock areas, and then underneath a subterranean hellscape of sewers and pickpockets and pretty much every type of unsavoury individual. Hopefully you have a wonderful weekend, and on Monday I'll get to show you some of the buildings we're going to be putting in here, including a lovely Italian restaurant. But until then, I hope you have the most wonderful morning, if it's morning when you're watching this, and if it's not, I hope you have a pretty good day. You're not my favourite if you're watching this in the afternoon, but I'm sure I can abide by it for now. But most importantly, it's the weekend, which is pretty good, because for most people, it means you don't have to work. If you do work on the weekend, oh man, I don't know what to tell you. You've probably got your weekend on like a Wednesday or something, which, if I'm honest, it's just a bit weird, isn't it?